Watch him throw the ball, we gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of Trap or Die Podcast. I am your host, Mual. Dre is backstage. Dre is here. What up, Hawk? Appreciate everybody who's checking in live. Appreciate everybody checking in on Twitter and on Twitch. We appreciate everybody who's tapping in while we doing the show. My man Hawk, one of the trappers. If you want to be part of the membership, man, and support the channel, support the work that we got going on. I don't know if I said film session was coming out today or tomorrow, but it should be on the way soon. I gotta find a way personally to actually do these a little bit quicker. I know my job's been getting in the way, but that's what I said I was gonna do. I was gonna write one this week, and I couldn't even get to that. But the video is gonna be out today, tonight, or tomorrow, so just bear with me. It's a really good episode. The offense is humming. And it's going to be a perfect time because the Cleveland Browns is up next. And people got a stigma behind who the Cleveland Browns defense is. So let me get the administrative items out of the way. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate all that. Audio side, same thing. Hit that follow button. Hit us with a rating and review if you haven't done so already. And that is free to do so and show your support that way. Dre, what it do, player? How you feeling, dog?
Feeling great. You know, every Thursday, Mual, I'm always in a good mood. For one, it's like my Friday at work because I don't go in the office on Fridays. Two, Thursday night football is that week again. Look, football season is so exciting this year. I am so excited. I mean, usually I don't know about now, but maybe a couple of weeks from now, we start to get a little checked out around here. You know what I mean? Because we usually ain't playing for nothing serious. We usually start to fall apart around this time, but we got an exciting team now. So football, every bit of football is fun to me right now.
Yeah, every week is exciting, bro. I'm with you. I was telling people all day, like I just couldn't wait till Sunday, bro. I think this is just one of those. And my dad, shout out to my dad, man. He popped up on me today, out of the blue, showed some love. Just came by kicking for a little bit. One of his concerns. He didn't state it as a concern, but when I told him like Jaden Daniels, trust me, Dad, like he's better than RG3 when RG3 came out. He's better than Kurt when Kurt came out. And he's like, yeah, but he's still a rookie though. And I was like, I get it, but the way he move, he do things different. And like what you see right now, he gonna have some down games, but what you see right now, that's him. He's a good quarterback.
And Maul, that's why I remember I asked y'all about that on the show the other day, because I'm like, all right, he's going to have his down games, but for me, it just needs to be a down game and not a down stretch. And I don't see any signs that he's going to let up like that. I mean, he just built different. I mean, you listen to everybody talk about him, the work ethic, he puts it in, you know what I'm saying? He wants that extra. It's almost like that Mamba mentality I feel like Jaden got. That's why I feel like, man, we got us one.
Yeah, no, I agree. What's going on with you, AJ?
Not much. Cooler, man. Cooler.
Yeah, but we was just over here reminiscing about RG3 and Kirk. Said we ain't had no quarterback like Jaden, bro. We ain't never had one like Jaden, bro. He one of a kind, dog. It's like I'm different. But look though, as we get into the show, we don't have for the way we thugging it out with us three. I stood tall on. I reached out to a couple people. No get backs. It's all good though. It's all good though.
That's because you know why we ain't getting no get backs this time? Because we ain't that expected dub on the schedule no more. The last couple weeks, everybody been confidently coming on our show. Yeah, we're gonna beat you guys. We're gonna dominate you guys. The Browns like, nah, I don't know. We want to come on there, you know.
But let Maul tell it. It's a trap game.
Yeah, I think it is a trap game, bro. Let's go ahead and tap into it. But first, let's get the administration. I keep saying that. The injury report. let's kind of talk about that because I didn't notice how many people were on the injury report for Washington's side as well. Everybody that's in the chat, that's active, let us know how you feeling about just the makeup of the game itself. Where are you leaning? You can take that whichever way you want. Nothing in particular, but how are you feeling about the game? All right, so we have Nick Allegretti, Zach Ertz, Cleveland Farrell, Dominic Hampton, Tyler Owens, Brian Robinson Jr., and Noah Brown. No, I'm sorry. Cut off at Brian Robinson. They were all DNPs. Noah Brown was limited. Austin Eckler limited, coming from a concussion. Excuse me. From what I understood, Brian Robinson missed practice 2 days in a row. Today's Thursday, so the one that I'm looking at is from the injury report that I'm looking at is from Wednesday. But I heard that Brian Robinson missed today's practice as well. But I believe that this is a rest situation for Brian Robinson, not necessarily he's in trouble to miss the game. Anyway, Percy Butler is on there, Johnny Newton, Emmanuel Forbes, Emmanuel Forbes, Jordan McGee, Marcus Mariota, Quan Martin, and F.L. Bada were all full in practice. Mind you, F.L. Bada and Jordan McGee were designated to return from PUP, and they are currently in the 21-day practice window. So they are scheduled to come back any minute now. And from what I heard from reporters, I want to say JP Finley. If not, I think all the other reporters said the same thing. Jordan McGee is probably slated to come back quicker because they only put him on the PUP anyway as a precaution. So they only use that for his window to like really practice or ramp up or something like that. So I think he can come back as soon as this week. If not next week, but he can come back sooner than FA, obviously.
Hey, Mal, to add to your injury report, because I know you said you're looking from yesterday, Noah Brown didn't practice at all today. So I don't know if that's a concern or if it was rest. So that's something to monitor.
Yeah, it's a concern for me. Now, like Noah Brown, biggest thing when he came to Washington was his injury history. So him, concern. Brian Robinson, I think his rest. But Noah Brown, if he on any injury report, you take that and you like, all right, we need to monitor. So that's gonna be interesting to see what's going on. So he didn't practice at all today.
Yeah, he didn't practice today. He was limited yesterday, didn't practice today.
Okay. Ooh, all right. So yeah, I see. Sorry for if I mispronounce your name wrong, but Nihar said that he was downgraded to DNP today. So he said that in the chat too. Kayla, appreciate you checking in too. He said Luke McCaffrey time to shine. More like OZ. Olamide. Yeah. It's his time.
You got the name right now.
Olamide. Yeah, I'm gonna get that name right. All right, let's kind of breeze through Cleveland side, but Jack Conklin, DNP, Myles Garrett, DNP, Jordan Hicks, Greg Newsome, Ogbu Okonkwo, DNP. I messed his name up. I know I did. Jedrick Willis, DNP, and then Nick Chubb's Nyheim Hines are limited. Nick Chubb was activated sometime this week. DeJuan Jones, David Njoku, all limited. Jerry Jeudy and JOK both were on the injury report as well, but they were full. So that's kind of the long list of injuries from both sides. I wasn't bullshit when I told you that was a long list. I just had to make sure that we get these names out there because that can affect both sides or both teams as we get ready for the game on Sunday. Trap game. All right, let's talk about it. Here's where I'm at, fellas. I think both y'all kind of align in the same way with this matchup. I actually thought that it was weird that people. I'm not surprised that people like 100% of the people didn't agree or didn't understand. That's okay, but I was surprised with the notion that people couldn't understand the angle and the situation that Washington was in, and I don't know if that makes sense, but like when you look at Washington, who just and actually my whole thought of stemming like this whole thing stemming from Washington was never in a trap or a letdown situation against Arizona. Like I would never picture them or any team in a trap situation if they're the underdog. That's never been something that computes in my head. You can't be in a trap or letdown situation as an underdog. Like, you aren't expected to win. And that's where I'm like, if anything, this week is the trap game, is the letdown game. And that's what I was actually saying, is directly comparison from Arizona to Cleveland. Last week wasn't it. It's this week, if you want to compare the two games or compare the two opponents. Cleveland Browns 1-3. Offense don't look too good. Defense, for what it's worth, people are holding on to their reputation of having a really strong defense. Sure, they got the players, but they're not playing the best of football on that side of the ball defensively. Like, but at the same time, they got the pieces, right? They got the pieces in place. Washington on fire offensively. They're 3-1, 1-3 straight, just dog Arizona on the road as a 3 or 4 point underdog. And now they're just 3-point favorites at home. And when I say just 3-point favorites, Dre, you know this. I don't think AJ knows. 3-point favorites, you only get that for being at home. So you're not necessarily an overwhelming favorite against Cleveland. People view this as a losable game for you and for Washington. And so while I look at it, and while people say Cleveland ain't good, we shouldn't be sweating against this game. I'm like, all right, well, Washington is in a situation where, like, the expectation is to win. Sure, like from an outsider standpoint, not the actual team. Like the actual team, they're not thinking like this is a letdown spot, or they're not thinking like we got this in the bag. But from an outsider perspective, this shouldn't be something where it's like it's an automatic dub. I think that there's so many factors in place that we aren't considering, and that's where I'm like, all right, well, these are the things that align where I say it's a area for a letdown game rather than these guys are going to have a cakewalk of a week, despite Deshaun Watson being some shit. Like, I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah,
I might be wrong.
I mean, I think for me, my whole, I don't even know if I want to use the word issue. I guess when I seen it on my timeline, and of course I knew we was going to do this show later on, I just don't think that you can have a trap game in week 5 of a season. I also don't think you can have a must-win game either this early in the season as well, as I've heard media outlets have done to a lot of teams already in this season, including Washington in several cases. I just don't believe that there's anything as a trap game. I think that you're still trying to identify who's real and who's not amongst the standings. How they are. Browns are 1-3 at the moment. The only team that they beat is the winless Jacksonville Jaguars. But in all their games, they've been fairly competitive. Not necessarily the greatest offensive effort, but defensively, they've been keeping themselves in games. And I just think that what's also going on with the Washington fan base is PTSD. A lot of fans are scared with the notoriety.
You can continue. I just want to clarify one thing on my side, because somebody said this in their responses to me. I don't have PTSD. I know you're not talking about me, you're talking about the fan base. Yeah. I don't have PTSD. Like, I'm speaking from experience throughout the entire NFL and what I come to know, and I just know that Washington fits the criteria for a trap game, in my opinion. I'm talking to the fans. Go ahead, continue, AJ.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what I was getting to was like PTSD from the fans, because this week they've been seeing so much coverage of this team and people cheering for them and saying they could win the NFC East. Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC East. Some have even went as far as saying one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL overall or the NFC overall. I just think that it's scaring fans to not get too excited. Even one of our, avid followers and listeners of the show, Disco, I seen him do a video today about how he was finally giving in to buying a Jaden Daniels jersey. Why the hell did he need to win 3 games for you to go buy this jersey?
That's it.
When you was sold on Sam Howell last year.
Damn.
Sam Howell played in 1-2 damn games, and you talking about He the franchise guy. So it's just
We
like
still love Sam.
I'm just seeing a lot of fans be so nervous of the notoriety the team is gaining that they think that they'll ultimately be a downfall at some point, and they don't want to get their hopes too high. They don't want to get excited, and I think you should be excited. Even if they end up losing on Sunday, you still have hope. You still have the ability to see that they can compete against every team. Maybe I personally don't think that they can compete next week against Baltimore because of how hard they've been having of a time stopping the run. And you put in the mix Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, it's like them boys might run for 400 plus yards next week. But that's just me putting my thought out there. The rest of the schedule, I feel like it's wide open. I know that they can be competitive in, and this is another game that they can be competitive in. They just got to take advantage of their opportunities and be positive out there. As far as gaining yards offensively, defensively, we don't know what we're gonna get, but fortunately for them, Nick Chubb won't be playing Sunday, and that Cleveland Browns offense hasn't necessarily been clicking, but they still got playmakers on that side of the ball. Deshaun Watson can still make plays. And Njoku's coming back. He can make plays and can be a nightmare. You got two route runners as your featured wide receivers in Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, so you still got to be cautious, but when I think of a trap game, I'm thinking like later in the season when one team is much higher in the standings as far as wins, and the team that they're facing might be like 2-10 or something like that, where you could fall into the trap of like thinking this about to be a breeze, and that's not necessarily the case. So that's how I identify trap when I seen it. But I think ultimately my message to the fans is Men in Black, flash yourself and forget about the past, because this is a new regime. Like, you got to start being more optimistic when you're rooting on your team. Like, stop thinking about RG3, Kirk Cousins, Mike Shanahan, Jay Gruden, Daniel Snyder. Like, stop thinking about those times and focus on the fact that you have a superstar at quarterback and that this team can continue to build on that. And whatever happens this year happens, but they look like they're trending on the up and up, and it should be a good game on Sunday. That's just where I live. Of course, you got to stop Myles Garrett, even though he got a leg problem. He's still one of those best players in the league, but I'm just seeing too many people be scared, and I hate it personally. I honestly wish I could mute all of them
So
or block all of them, because I just hate negative Nancy's in that regard, where it's like, oh my God, we're getting too much recognition on ESPN, First Take, Sports Center, NFL Live. They like us. We're number 5 in the power
Hey,
rankings. We're in the top 10 in the power rankings. But I don't know. I'm scared.
hey, Jerry. This is a complete 180 from the AJ we've
I was
heard on
about
this
to say
show
something about
for
that
the
too.
A
last
180
3
for
years,
what?
bro.
You were the negative Nancy the last few. I mean, not to
Yeah.
say you didn't have a reason, but you
Man,
were
I
the
was a
negative.
truth
Yeah,
teller.
you had valid
Call me
reasons, but what
Call
you
me
know
the
damn
truth
well that
teller.
I,
I was
hey,
telling
look,
truth.
all right, you got your opinion right, and most times it was true. It was the hard truth for some of these people to hear. But at the same time, you got to understand, like they're just cautious. They're nervous, bro. They're scared. That don't mean it. That's not pessimism or that's just more so skepticism. They don't really know that they seeing the actual team. They nervous, bro. They
And
want this to be good. It's not
I
like they
guess
saying, man, we some
I
shit.
guess it's spooky season. I guess
Yeah,
No,
bro.
look,
It
it is
is
spooky
Halloween,
season.
bro.
I view it a lot differently than y'all. I do think that you could have a trap game in week 5. I just don't think Washington
I
has earned
agree.
the status of having any trap games. That's where I'm at with it. It's not a trap game for me because we still don't know who Washington is. I think we have a good idea at this point. Like, we feel good about this team, but they haven't given us the evidence or proven that they're supposed to beat a team before they step on the field. And that's any team. Because I think before this season started, Cleveland probably would have been favored in this game leading up to this point. But because of how the season's going, we're 3-point favorites. favorites. And as Mual said, that's not a big favorite in the gambling world. So I don't view it as a trap game, because for me, trap games are played by teams that's kind of already established with that target on their back. A trap game to me is like the Chiefs playing against the Browns this week, but they got the Bills next week. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs are expected to beat the Browns by everybody in the world, even the Chiefs themselves. Like the Chiefs themselves in meeting rooms are like, man, we're not supposed to lose to the Browns today. So, they may not go as hard as, they would go against the Bills or the Bengals or when they play those type of teams. But I just feel like Washington is at the point where they're still trying to establish an identity. They're still trying to establish a culture. So, I mean, if they lose, I don't think it will be because they overlooked the Browns. It may just be because the Browns were just better that day. I mean, face it, I could be wrong, but I think I'm right about this. I think this is the best defense we played all season. So, I mean, this is, Buccaneers may have been close, but I feel like the Browns, they are borderline top 10-ish defense. So this is a chance to see Jaden against a stronger defense. I mean, some people, his critics are out there saying he hasn't played a good defense yet. So let's see what he does against a good defense. If he has a bad game, so what? I mean, it's one bad game and he's a rookie, and that's what a lot of people are probably forgetting at this point too. And Jaden is actually reminding people, I'm still a rookie. When they say, yeah, man, what do you feel about this star status you're getting? Jaden like, wait a minute. I'm a rookie. So, I mean, we still have to keep that in perspective when we're talking about these games. Again, we feel good. We're in a good spot going into this game. But at the same time, there's no guarantees in the NFL. And we, like I said, we are not the Chiefs yet. We are not, on those teams type of level to just feel like we're going to walk in and beat any team. And I'd be super worried if that was the team's mindset going into this game. And I'm 100% sure that's not their mindset going into the game. I know that they feel like they have things to prove. I know that they have to lock in for any game up to this point, because again, we are not where we want to be. We're just kind of scratching the surface of where we want to go. So right now, no, I do not view this as a trap game for Washington, because I just don't think we've earned that status yet.
Well, I want to say, and this my last thoughts on it. I understand where both y'all are coming from, and we're all coming from three different perspectives on this. I also think that trap games can be as early as week 2. Like week 1 is just the one where you're trying to get your feelers. Upsets happen in week 1, but like trap games happen as early as week 2 with larger. Put it this way, one of the bigger trap games is the Buffalo Bills. They were on the road against Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings, and the Buffalo Bills were 17-point underdogs, and them boys won outright against the Minnesota Vikings, bro. And like 70+% of the tickets were on the Minnesota Vikings that week. That was early in the season. And that was a Josh Allen led team, a young Josh Allen. But to that point, and why I bring that up, like that's one example of an early one, and that's a large number, right? But I just think when you look at Washington's situation, it doesn't matter what your record is or what your perceived, what the perceived viewing or opinion of you are in the league. Trap games can happen to so many people. The Buccaneers just last week, 6 or 7 point underdogs against the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos went outright. Like that's a letdown spot for Tampa Bay. That is an example of a trap game, and I think that's kind of the thing. Same thing this week. Like the Jets and the Broncos. I think those are examples of letdown spots for teams. Like the Broncos. Like you look at them after they get the game against the Buccaneers, and you think that the Jets, because they just did their thing the week before, they're gonna come back at home and do their thing against the Broncos. The reason why I say all this is because when you look at so many other angles of how Washington can view, or how Washington is viewed publicly, they think that there is no way that they lose this game. And that's where I'm saying there's a gap. There's a gray area there that people aren't taking into account. Now, as I transition out of that whole definition, or my definition of what a trap game looks like to me, I think Washington is not like a trap game. You're not bound to lose in that moment. Like you can win a trap game. It's about escaping that. And I think Washington has all the tools in the world from their coaches, from Jaden Daniels in that offense to really do their thing against the Cleveland Browns. I can see it. I can see them winning close. I can see them winning by multiple scores. I think that they have that in their toolbox against or capability to do that against the Cleveland Browns. And it's a lot to do with Jaden, but it's also a lot to do with how Washington has prepared their players over this time, but also how they approach the games. You said something, Dre, in your response that I didn't want to let it go. Right? You said it in passing, but it's really worth the conversation. Every single time that Jaden Daniels is at the podium, he diminishes every single accomplishment that the media tries to throw his way. They said, what's today? Thursday. So it was yesterday. His pressure yesterday was, it was a question like, you're a star player. And he's like, man, I'm just a rookie. I'm a rookie still. And then somebody rephrased the question that they asked and said, well, you're a star rookie. Do you agree with that? Y'all can say whatever y'all want. I don't care what y'all say. I'm just a rookie. And like, I think the mentality that he brings, like, it's good to know that he doesn't feed into it. And the only thing that you know about Jaden with this team and with everybody around him is that the people who play with him and the people that coach him has a lot of respect for him. He lets them do the talking for him. And he stays grounded. And I think when you go into a game with that type of leadership or that type of mentality, now vocally, like he doesn't look like the vocal leader, and I'm sure he isn't like a vocal leader, but like the leadership in terms of how he carries himself from a day-to-day standpoint, that kind of seeps into your players, your teammates. And that's why I say, like, the trap game again, last time I'm using it, that this can be viewed as one way, but it doesn't matter when you have certain players out there who are capable of overcoming a letdown spot. And I think Washington has those players, and I think Washington has that leadership to sit here and say, we're going up against Cleveland. Here's what they do well. Here's what we need to attack. And I think we can get the job done. That's how I view this whole situation. And I think Washington has the tools offensively to keep themselves in the game, to maintain a lead, and to really put up some points against the Cleveland Browns.
Mar, let me ask you, and I want to ask you because you have said it's a trap game, and you did give some good reasons for your explanation, but is your opinion kind of skewed at all by who they're playing after the Browns as well? Because we got the Ravens next week.
I honestly hadn't, like, so when I ever said that, I only focused from a week-to-week standpoint. I didn't even consider the Baltimore Ravens. I'm just so excited I'm going to the game. I have nothing to say about the Baltimore Ravens. That hasn't crossed my mind. I'm like, nigga, give me. I was on. Matter of fact, I was on some website looking for some, because I'm not about to buy a jersey, but I'm about to buy some. I'm about to update my Washington gear. I'm about to buy me a little T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? with my little, so I can wear my little chain of that junk, bro. You know what I'm saying? Little short, stout type shit. But yeah, I ain't been thinking about Baltimore.
Got you.
Oh, thoughts about as we transition to the game. Not y'all, if y'all want to talk about trap, y'all could, but more so about the game. What do y'all think about the more important parts of how they approach the Cleveland Browns and things like that?
To be honest with you, Mual, I'm a little nervous about this game. I mean, I was going to be nervous anyway because that's just my mentality and my mindset going into any game. I feel like Joe Gibbs, like playing anybody. Like Joe Gibbs can make the worst team in the world feel like the greatest team. So for me, yeah, I mean, I'm nervous more so because of the injuries that's kind of piling up. I'm looking at Brian Robinson in specific. Now, I know a lot of fans are saying, yeah, we got Austin Eckler waiting right there. I know AJ agrees with that. We got Austin Eckler. What we need Brian Robinson for? But for me, I love Austin Eckler in the role that he's playing in. Like, I love the fact that he's not getting, a high ton of carries. He's not being that physical back. He's kind of just able to go out there and beat Austin Eckler, the Austin Eckler that you got a glimpse of when he played for the Chargers, except now, I mean, it's a little bit more of a limited role, but you still see the explosiveness. I want to keep Austin Eckler fresh throughout the season. So for me, I'm kind of looking at Brian Robinson. He's not practicing today. I know, Mual, you think that may be a rest thing, but I hope that's just it, because I love Brian Robinson and the kind of the workhorse mentality, the workhorse role. I think he works well with that. He can take that physical beating. He can take the grinding. Austin Eckler, at this point in his career, you want to keep him a little fresh, especially coming off a concussion. So my question is, what are we going to do if Brian Robinson is a plan? Do you call up Chris Rodriguez, who kind of fits that similar build, the bruiser type of back, or do you kind of just roll with the McNichols and Eckler in this game? And Cleveland, I think they're middle of the pack as far as defense goes against the run. So I do feel like you can get off on them in the run game. I think they're much better in the pass game. Obviously, you have Myles Garrett over there. Injury or not, Myles Garrett is still Myles Garrett. Is going to propose a challenge. It's going to be the biggest challenge that Brandon Coleman has had yet. It makes me wonder about the rotation on the offensive line. Like, how much is he going to be rotating with Cornelius Lucas? And then we also have an injury on the offensive line with Allegretti, who's been playing pretty well. I think anybody who's watched him play is like, man, that dude plays with a bit of a nasty streak.
Now, would they move one of them left tackles, as in like Brandon Coleman? Would they move him inside?
That's a good question. Would it be Coleman or Lucas? Because we do know that Coleman can't play guard as well. So that'd be a good question. If Allegretti can't go, do you move Coleman inside? So I mean, this is the part of the season where the injuries start being a factor into these games. So, and as we can see, we're starting to see the little nicky knack injuries pile up. Like, I didn't even know Brian Robinson was injured till he was on the injury report yesterday, and then he's not practicing today. So yeah, for me, that's a little bit of a concern, just because, like I said, I do think the run game is something you can lean on in this game against Cleveland, especially if the pass rush gets a little too tough. So it's going to be interesting to see how Cliff kind of schemes around that. But for me, going into this game, yes, that is my biggest concern going into it. But overall, I just feel like, it's going to come down to which defense is playing better in this game. Because Washington, and I proposed this question on Twitter earlier, 3 games in, the first 3 games of the season, historically bad. Last game, pretty good performance. And Joe Witt kind of alluded that this was coming. So my question is that an anomaly, or are we about to see this defense build up momentum? So to me, that's something I'm really intrigued by watching in this game, because I feel like if the defense is picking up momentum, then yes, this is a game that I'm going to feel good about in game, that this is a game we can win. I said last week when we played against the Cardinals, when the Cardinals punted for that, or I think it was a 3-out. They punted for the first time in that game. I felt so confident in us going in that game. I felt so confident about the rest of that game that we're going to be able to build a lead in this game, because now the defense finally got to stop. We didn't do that against the Bengals the week before. The only stop we really got against the Bengals was that missed field goal. But again, the Bengals were scoring every possession. So this game, this is a bad offense we're playing, but it's still some talented players on that offense, so you can't really sleep on them too much. They can wake up. They've been kind of hibernating to start the season, so you want to see if that defense is building some momentum, because if they are building some momentum, you should have an advantage or an edge over this Cleveland offense. So those are some of my thoughts going into this game.
AJ?
Yeah, I think for me, when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, of course, the main person that you have to highlight going into the week is Myles Garrett. He is a dominant guy in the pass rushing game and also in the run game. So how do you plan on containing him? Those are the main concerns that you have, especially with him primarily being on the left side. How you've been doing your Aunt Viv routine. I'm gonna keep saying that until they stop switching left tackles. But when you have Lucas and Brandon Coleman rotating that left tackle, how do you plan on slowing down Myles Garrett? Are you gonna do more 13 personnel and have those tight ends chip? Whatever the case is, like what is the real plan in regards to slowing him down? But even on the opposite side, Zadarius Smith is a veteran pass rusher as well, who can also bring some issues to whatever side he plays against, going against either the Coleman Lucas duo or Andrew Wiley on the right side. Another key component in the run game. How productive can you be? Can you continue to get these yards? I prefer Austin Eckler as a feature back for this offense. If Brian Robinson can't play, I think that will allow this offense to be able to do even more things that they haven't even displayed yet fully with him being the featured back. But on the defensive side, you got a guy in JOK, Jeremiah Owusu Kamara.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast in the run game. Like he is very great at diagnosing plays and getting through the blocks or beating guards or whatever the case is. I think he's a key factor that you have to identify within your run game. Hopefully Brian Robinson doesn't miss the game so they can continue with their pattern that they've kind of been on. But if not, I trust Austin Eckler to carry that load as a feature back. Um, I would also say for Washington, from a defensive standpoint, just not giving up the big play. So far, Brown's offense hasn't really been productive. I don't think that they've only scored more than 20 points, I want to say, in one game so far this season, which was against no, matter of fact, I don't even remember how much they beat the Jaguars by, but their offense has been pretty stagnant. Whether it
Yeah,
be against the
they've only scored the highest 18
okay, yeah,
all season. So they've
yes,
never scored more than that.
okay,
It's also
so
funny. Sorry, they scored 15 points one game, 16 points another game, 17 points the other game, and 18 points another game. Is literally
Score
nothing
20,
going on.
you win.
yeah, and those teams have been the Cowboys, Jaguars,
Giants and
the
Raiders.
Giants, and the Raiders. So it's like you definitely want to make sure that they don't have this offensive explosion on Sunday. I don't is the weather supposed to be clear on Sunday here?
Absolutely.
Okay. So yeah, so you just hope that Washington can continue to build on this momentum that they have offensively, but from a defensive standpoint, they have some momentum from what they were able to do last week, and they can continue to put pressure on the quarterback. Deshaun Watson is actually who I kind of comp Jaden Daniels to coming out of college. Not the Deshaun Watson that you're seeing right now, but the Deshaun Watson that was tearing up the league with the Houston Texans. Major difference is Deshaun Watson still holds on to the ball for a pretty long time within the pocket. So hopefully this is a game where Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and these edge rushers can make an impact and kind of do the same thing that they did against Kyler Murray and get to the quarterback. I think that'd be huge. That will definitely be something that we will all be applauding come Sunday when we do the post game show. As far as how Joe Witt Jr. has been able to turn around this defense overall, as far as how they were looking from the debut to where they are now. But I mean, I think it's a game that Washington can win and can be productive. They just have some key elements that they have to go about doing so and accomplishing their goal and being 4-1. But I definitely view it as being all achievable. Just gotta neutralize some of those playmakers. I didn't say Denzel Ward as a playmaker in this particular game because I just don't see them primarily attacking him. I don't think that would be smart either. Denzel Ward is one of the premier corners in this league, but I see them doing some misdirection and doing some more play action, trying to get them in bunches so that they can kind of take Denzel Ward out of his game and not make him one of the main people that they're targeting when they do decide to pass.
All right. Let's kind of quickly touch on the defensive side of the ball for a second. Like as a whole.
I just gave you a whole damn recap, huh?
Yeah, I'm about to say as a whole. And we'll do that after these words from our guys from Underdog Fantasy. All right, let's take a break from the show right quick. And let me tell you something about Underdog Fantasy. It is the greatest time of the year because football is back and it's here to stay till February. You can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats such as touchdowns, passing yards, and more. Peep that touchdown thing, right? If you're a Commanders fan, Jaden Daniels, Brian Robinson, You're looking like money. You can make that entry on Underdog Fantasy. Choose higher on their touchdown total. Get you some bread. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head over Underdog's simple to use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with promo code TrapperDive and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code TrapperDive to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 or older, 19 or older in Alabama and New England, 19 or older in Colorado for some games, 21 and up in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call 24/7 HOPEline at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. 369. There it is. Let me get AJ out the solo. All right, boom.
369.
I said the same thing, bro.
Taking me back to
the club. Okay, when Dre was what? He was 34.
Hey, it was the 90s.
Hey.
Like, no, it was the 2000s.
Hey, you better
Y'all
stop
niggas try to
letting
say I
that
was
man
in my
play with
30s.
your age.
I know.
man.
Maul be acting like I'm 60 or something.
He be talking to you like you 55.
I know. I ain't even 40 yet. I'm almost there, Maul. I'm almost there.
All right, bro. Hey, hold on. Let's go ahead and get to the defensive side of things. For Washington, I don't know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. I know there's a lot of conversation that he's not necessarily in the scheme or system that, once made him successful. So there's a lot of things that's holding him back schematically. But you're 3 years into this experiment. On the All 32 side, we talked about Deshaun Watson several times. One of the things that kind of makes me pause with him is like, at this point in your career, bro, like, I get the scheme maybe one thing, but like, you are where you are. And unfortunately, you ain't been producing for 3 years. And while that may be a good portion or good reason, a good percentage of the coach's fault because they got you there. And they are trying to fit a round peg into a square hole. Like, what can you do? You got Amari Cooper, who is rumored to be on the trade block. You brought in Jerry Jeudy because you thought that was going to help your offense out. Especially with the absence of Nick Chubb. You don't really have a running game right now. And offensively, like, from all metrics, right? Like, how you're able to pass the ball, your pressure that you allow, your pressure rate that you allow, your sacks allowed, you're among the worst. Like, you have the third worst sack rate in the NFL. You've allowed the most sacks in the NFL. Your pressure rate is the fifth worst in the NFL. And you've allowed the most pressures in the NFL. So think about that from an offensive standpoint. And obviously we talked about how you aren't able to run the ball collectively. Like, I just think for Washington, this isn't going to be easy trying to deal with a mobile quarterback. But the way that they handled Kyler Murray last week is a really good sign. Kyler Murray tried to get out of the pocket probably about 4 or 5 times. He got one scramble off. The other times he couldn't make it out the pocket. Whether he got cut off his rush lane or he got sacked. I think that this game with Washington, defensively for Washington, is one of those ones where you can't let somebody get hot. Whoever it is, whether it's Deshaun or whether it's a Jerry Jeudy or Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper, I think he's leading the league right now in drops. Like, it's kind of, and I'm about to double check that as soon as I'm done talking. But I think he's definitely up there among the league leaders in drops. I don't know if he's leading the league, but like that, those are things that you think about when you talk about this offense. A lot of things just aren't going right. AJ, you mentioned David Njoku. I had to scout Amari Cooper in the offseason. And bro, when I tell you I thought after watching that and obviously seeing their offense, I thought David Njoku was one of the best tight ends I've seen in my time of scouting. I've only been doing it for 3 years, right? But when I tell bro, he's not like the most fluid catcher, but when the ball is in his hands, bro, he's a yak god. He run through tackles. He run around people. Like, he takes contested catches like it's nothing. Like, he's the ultimate safety blanket. He can do it all, bro. Before and after the catch. They just dump it off on a screen, bro, and say, here, go get us 20, and he gets you 24. Like, he is a dog. And did we say that he's playing? Do we know that? I don't know. Yeah, I know I did the injury report, but is he playing?
He's playing. Yeah, he's playing on Sunday. He's on the report, but he's playing on Sunday.
That's the guy that you need to worry about if you watched him. David Njoku. And I'm not saying that just because I know I've seen him, but he literally is a guy like, bro, he is a unit. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 260, running the way he running, bro. That's him.
Hasn't he played for the Browns for like 20 years? I feel like I've been picking David Njoku in fantasy since 2005.
Man, he's been
28.
I think, yeah, he's been in the league for like probably 5-6 years.
Shit, longer. He's been in the league since he was 21, 2017. He's been in the league for a long time.
I know he's been in for a while because I done drafted him like 8 times.
Yeah, bro. That's the guy. That's the one that's dangerous, bro.
From the U.
Mm-hmm.
But and Mual, you mentioned Deshaun Watson. Now, I will be sitting up here lying if I told you I really, followed Cleveland games and watched a lot of Deshaun Watson since he's played for Cleveland. I mean, I've kind of, followed from afar. I've seen, when they play on national TV and things like that. But for me, whatever's going on with Deshaun Watson seems mental, because I think we can all agree that when he was with the Texans, we all thought of Deshaun Watson as a top 5 quarterback. People were ready to bend over backwards to go get a guy that was dealing with everything. Yeah, no Diddy. Hey, not for me at least. Because I wasn't on it like that.
I was not these people.
Cleveland did. Cleveland was one of them people. They bent over for Deshaun Watson. But no, I mean,
Diddy.
Hey, but we talked about Deshaun. I ain't gonna share it.
Yeah,
we definitely talked about him.
And we did, but and a lot of fan bases wanted him because the thought was, regardless of what he went through, he was a top 5 quarterback, and we'll put away all of his transgressions to the side, and we're going to take this chance because you don't get a chance at a top 5 quarterback. He's been anything but top 5 since he's went to Cleveland. He hasn't even been top 10, maybe not even top 15 to this point. So to me, it's a mental thing, that layoff, everything that was going with him. I mean, because you've seen it. You've seen guys like Michael Vick take the layoff. Michael Vick went to jail. He came back out to Atlanta and went to Philadelphia and had a successful redemption tour with Philadelphia. You just haven't seen that with Deshaun. So you just kind of wonder, is he built for whatever he went through mentally to come back and be the player that he once was, So I mean, but there's some things he's always had the issue of holding on to the ball too long, But again, he's also still capable of having some big games. So the Commanders cannot be, resting on their laurels with this information. I mean, hell, he threw for 3 touchdowns last time we played him. We played him 2 years ago. That was the Carson Wentz game, actually. When Ron Rivera, Carson had been hurt. He came back and said, Carson's going to start this game, even though Heineke has been kind of handling things. And then Cleveland comes in here and they beat us 24-10. Like I said, Deshaun Watson throws 3 touchdowns in that game. So, he's still capable of having these type of games. You cannot go to sleep on a Deshaun Watson. But at the same time, this ain't the Deshaun Watson that was in Houston. So, I mean, you come in with a solid game plan. And I do think the playmakers are more to worry about. I mean, Amari Cooper, I don't know what his issue is. He's normally good against us, whether he played for the he was with the Cowboys, wasn't he? No, he wasn't. He was with the Cowboys. Yeah. Because I always think about his Raiders. Yeah, he was with the Raiders and the Cowboys. But no, Amari's always had good games against us. Jerry Jeudy's had good games against us. I think he had a pretty good game against us last year when he was with Denver. David Njoku, who we just mentioned, he's been in Cleveland forever. I mean, that's a guy you got to worry about. So they have some playmakers that you still have to account for. So, and again, like I said, Deshaun is still capable of these big games. So, this is
what's crazy, bro? If they kept Baker Mayfield, bro, they wouldn't have none of these issues offensively.
And that's the thing. And they would have had draft picks. They would have kept the salary cap. They probably would have added more playmakers on the offensive and defensive side of the footballs. I mean, Deshaun Watson has a hell of a deal. I mean, he's making a lot of money over there. But I mean, this is the type of game where, again, I come back to our defense. which defense shows up? Is it the defense we start to see gain some momentum last week, or is it the historically bad defense that Joe Witt said had communication issues all throughout the season? So this is going to be important, because I do feel like if you have a letdown in this game on the defensive side of the football, this could probably carry on. You know what I mean? Like you probably feeling down about yourself, especially against a bad offense. Like, you can't be feeling good about yourself if you go out there and you let a bad Cleveland offense start to get off and feel some momentum. I mean, guys might start to get down. I want to see the defense that went out there last week. I want to see the defense that's led by a hyped up Frankie Louvu giving these hell of a, I don't know if that's post game or pre game when he does.
John Allen could never.
Hey, he couldn't. And I want to see
Never.
that type of defense this week, because this is the type of offense this defense needs to have an advantage over. If you can't get an advantage over this offense, I don't have confidence that you could do it at any point in the season. And it's going to make it feel like that Arizona Cardinals game was an anomaly.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like you said, Dre, Deshaun Watson is capable of having a breakout game. 2 years ago, you mentioned his breakout game against the Washington Commanders. And the last time I really remember him having a breakout game was against the Baltimore Ravens. Might have been last year. I just think that he's in a situation where he doesn't fit into Stefanski's scheme. They also brought in Ken Dorsey, who was the OC with the Buffalo Bills. He just doesn't fit in there. But at the same token, when you're getting fully guaranteed money, 200 some million plus dollars, alongside with the absence of missing a year and a half of real NFL reps, and I don't even think he's bothered by the mental stuff, because he still maneuvers his regular day life. It's just sometimes when you get that type of money, man, there's no motivation, because it's fully guaranteed, and you don't see that from NFL contracts, especially of that magnitude, and especially having the issues that you have away from the field. Like, it's rare for someone to go through those type of trials and tribulations and get rewarded with a fully guaranteed contract. But he still has arm talent, and then his two wide receivers are both route gods, like both from Alabama. That's what they're known for. The Calvin Ridleys of the world, the Julio Jones, the Amari Coopers, the Jerry Judys, they're known for being route gods. So you still have to play them well. And to be honest with you, I'm not quite sure that if Deshaun Watson is given time out there, that these cornerbacks can hold up with Amari Cooper and Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, Amari's been having some issues with dropping the ball, which kind of has plagued him most of his career. He's had some issues with drops, but when it comes to route running, he knows how to get open. And these corners in particular don't do well with guys that have extensive route trees and know how to get in and out their breaks the way that those two can. Now you add Njoku into the mix. It'll be interesting to see how they defend him. Um, I definitely expect Chin to play close to the line once again. I think that's where they try to utilize the attributes and traits that Chin brings to the table, being a 6'2", 6'3", 230-pound 4'4" guy. Um, that's what may help, defending Njoku, because he will be a safety blanket for Deshaun. Deshaun probably in his progressions will be looking at the tight end before even looking at the outside wide receivers, because Njoku is a beast. Like, he's a dog in every type of way. One of the top premier tight ends in the league. But he also, if I'm not mistaken, has played any games this season, due to the injury that he suffered. But I do expect him to have an impact on Sunday's game. So I'm interested to see how they plan on defending him, whether it be with maybe Luvu helping in some cases like Chip, but Chin playing primarily close to the line of scrimmage, Quan Martin coming down, maybe Percy Butler. I really don't know. But I'm intrigued to see that. I just think that Washington has a great opportunity, like I said, to really get the streak going for their defense. Joe Witt Jr., in one of his quotes that I seen, he said that they streamlined the communication, not giving them like a big script. of plays, and he feels like that's what led to last week's game and communication being much more clear. We'll see if that continues, and that's the reason why this defense communicates better and does what they need to do to get the job done. Because the Cleveland Browns are not a prominent offense at all. We're going based off of statistics. Like we just touched on, their highest points that they've scored this season is 18. Even with all of that talent, absence of a Nick Chubb or David Njoku, they should be scoring much more than that. But you know, I just hope that Washington can ultimately get home to the quarterback. They can get home to the quarterback. This will be a complete massacre of a game.
Massacre.
Damn.
Okay.
I'll take
All right.
it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get into our over unders, and then we'll get our score predictions and our MVPs. All right. So where do I start? Everybody in the chat, obviously, play along if you want to. Why is FanDuel on me right now, bro?
Oh, we didn't even touch on the Cleveland Browns. I want to say they have the top defense in third down percentage.
Let me double check because I didn't peep that when I looked.
That's interesting. Where do we rank? I feel like we rank probably at the somewhere near the top of third down conversions on offense.
You said third down. Yeah, they did seventh best on third down defensively. Offensively,
I thought they had the seventh best defense.
No,
overall.
They have the 11th in terms of yards. And 7th best on third downs. Washington on third downs are number one. AJ on offense.
I figured that. I said we have to be the top.
That's the matchup right there. Third downs.
Yeah. And then defensively, like from a collective standpoint, they aren't like they're kind of down there from an overall standpoint.
They are pretty high up in the passing yards. I know they're like probably top 5 to 7, I think, in passing yards against.
Yeah, they are top 8 unit, 8th overall in terms of passing yards that they've allowed. They've also allowed their middle of the pack in terms of attempts as well. So average wise, top 10 in terms of passing yards averaged against them as well. All right, so FanDuel has taken away the props, the player props. So let's kind of make up some props on the spot here. Dre, it sounded like you was about to say one.
Now, about to say, what's DraftKings doing? You can go to DraftKings if you ain't doing FanDuel. Get some of those. Props.
See if you can find something on DraftKings.
Yeah,
I don't have
right now.
Yeah, all right, bet because I ain't got DraftKings. Which reminds me, I may need to make an account so I can go ahead and get me some free money.
Okay. Mual, you tell me what you want and I'll give you one. I mean, we got they got our props up.
Yeah, let's do passing yards. Let's do pick a couple receivers for receiving yards. Let's do a running back for rushing yards.
Got you. All right. Jaden Daniels, over or under 209 yards?
Passing, I would say over.
I say over, barely over, probably like 211, 212.
I'm gonna say the under in this game, only because of Cleveland's defense.
Okay.
All right. Let's go to the rushing yards. Let's start with Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels' rushing yards are at over or under 48 yards.
Ooh. Under.
I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna say over on this one as well.
Yeah, if Myles Garrett get to dogging the left tackle or the right tackle, he gonna have to run.
Yeah, I think he's gonna take off. He probably just gonna be like under 48.
No, we don't have any more Russian props because obviously we don't know Brian Robinson's status, and I don't see any other Russian props.
That's probably why they took some of that stuff off. Okay.
Yes. So receiving. Okay. Let's see what Terry McLaurin is. I want to look at his today. Okay. Terry McLaurin, over or under 51 yards receiving in this game?
Damn.
That's where it's at.
They said that boy ain't doing shit on Sunday, bro. You said what? 52? You said
51. Over 51? Or under 51?
I'm gonna go over under 51. I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
under.
He gonna cook somebody for a big play.
His former college teammate Denzel Ward locks his ass up.
I'm gonna say over. I think Terry has at least 75 yards this week. I'm gonna go with Terry. All right, we want any more over unders?
Do they got like any turnover props?
Let's see. D special teams props. Total turnovers. Well, that's just for the game. They only have a 2.5 over or under total turnovers for the game.
Oh, for the game? Okay, we can do that. Let's end with that one. Over under 2.5. You said?
Yeah, over under 2.5.
Damn, I was about to. Okay. You know what's crazy, bro? Washington only has forced 2 turnovers. I think.
I know.
One.
I know.
Unless it's what am I missing?
It's
2 fumbles.
Oh yeah, 2.
Yeah.
The Giants and then last week. Okay.
This is combined. So I'm gonna say over for me. I'm going over.
You think 3? I mean, at least 3. Okay.
It's 2.5. It's 2.5 over turnovers in
under.
one game.
Yes, in one game.
I'm gonna go under.
No.
Both teams.
Under.
Both teams.
I'm gonna go under.
For both teams?
Yeah, for both teams.
Not for one team.
Under.
I'm gonna go.
I'm going over.
Bro. I think both sides gonna play a clean game, and it's not because they tried. I mean, it's not because they were really executing. It's because neither one of them, especially Washington side, can force a fucking turnover. Okay. All right. Appreciate you, Dre. From DraftKings, West said under 2.5 turnovers. Jay Tizzy said under 51. West said over 51. Jay Tizzy under 48. West over 209. Okay. All right. So let's close out with our predictions and our MVP. Everybody in the chat that's right here right now, let us know what your score predictions are. Let us know who your MVP is for the game. I'll go first. I do think Washington wins. I think that it's going to be a really close game. I think that Washington wins 21-19. And I think the MVP, how can I not say Jaden? It's Jaden. It's Jaden Daniels. Well, yeah, MVP is Jaden, bro.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 27-19. Only makes sense. If they've been scoring 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, they might as well get the 19. Yeah, Jaden Daniels is the MVP. He's the best player on the Washington Commanders. So if they win any game going forward, he's gonna be the MVP.
Unless it's Brian Robinson, then Brian Robinson will be MVP.
Oh, here we go.
Well, he ain't playing. We don't know if he's playing or not, so I can't pick him this week. But no, I mean, I'm going with an ugly game. I think the Commanders pull out the ugly win, 24-20 in this game. And my MVP is Jaden Daniels. I'm gonna go with Jaden Daniels. I think at the end of the day, he pulls it out.
Sweet.
But I'm gonna go with a footnote in this game, and this is the game. This is the first game that Washington is going to have an interception in. That's why I'm going with the over on the total turnovers. I think Washington is finally going to get an interception for the first time this week, maybe even 2. So that's my footnote.
Okay. All right, cool. So we got we got West 34-20 Washington, JD 5 MVP, Jay Tizzy 21-16 Washington, B-Rob MVP, and Nihar 28-20 Washington. If I'm saying your name wrong, please help me. Correct me. 28-20 to Washington. Washington wins. Boom, there it is, bro. All right. Good show. Dre, I know what you got going on today, so good luck with your plays. You know what I'm saying? If you all want to get some bets in, make sure you do Underdog Fantasy promo code Tribe or Dive. You know what I'm saying? Get you some bets in. I forgot to send my plays in to. God damn it! I forgot to post them. I'm gonna just go ahead and make a little story post right quick and just leave it at that. Or save the Western one for Sunday. I got 2 or 3 plays in for Sunday. Anyway, we're gonna hit on Underdog. I swear we're gonna do it. But with all that being said, bro, everybody, man, enjoy the game tonight. Good luck on your parlays. Good luck on your bets. Fellas, man, see y'all Sunday, bro.
Yes, sir.
Peace.